Hi guys, it's Aaron. I'm back with my second end of the season video, and this time I will be focusing on the Premier League. Last time, of course, I done Dagenham Redbridge, and this is just basically my opinions on what I think is the best and the worst of the Premier League for the season 2012 to 2013. We're going to start with the best, obviously, because most people say the best will last, but I'm different and awkward, so I'm going to do the best first. Best player. As much as I hate to say it, because I hate Tottenham, for me this season, best player without a doubt, Gareth Bale. Obviously in the league this season you had your Van Persies, you had your Suarez's. As much as he's a prick, he's a talented player. But for me, the man that stood out was Gareth Bale. I mean, just goal after goal was astonishing. 40-yarder after 40-yarder. Game winner after game winner. And, he's basically the man that makes Tottenham Hotspur. Without him, I think they'd struggle. But I'm going to come to that again a bit later on another topic. But, yeah, to be honest, Gareth Bale, player of the season, well-deserved winner of the PFA Player of the Year. Without a doubt, he's just cracked on every other player in the league this season. And Tottenham would be daft to sell him, in my opinion. But at the same time, you've got to think, would they make big money? That's the question. Actually, today he has just signed a new one-year contract with Tottenham on 130 grand a week, and Spurs have been given £200 million to spend in the transfer window. So I'll tell you what, they will be a beast of a team next season. Again, as much as I hate to say it, they could be up and coming next season with all that money. Next one, best signing. Only one man for me here, Miguel Michu, striker for Swansea City. He had a fantastic first half of the season. He scored twice in his debut in a 5-0 win at Queen's Park Rangers, and he hasn't looked back since. He did go a bit quiet towards the end of the season, didn't score that many goals, but he almost spoiled Sir Alex Ferguson's retiring party at Old Trafford. Did score a goal there, but obviously Manchester United went on to win that game. And it's thanks to him that Swansea actually won their first ever major trophy. They won the Capital One Cup this season. They beat Bradford City 5-0 in the final. And Michu himself got 2 of the goals. And I think overall he got about 15 goals overall, which is very impressive for a debut season in the Premier League when you're playing for a club like Swansea. It's quite incredible, to be honest. And they only paid £2 million as well, so not only a great signing but fantastic bargain as well. Next one, the biggest shock of the season. This isn't directly related to the Premier League, but it does involve a Premier League team. Wigan Athletic, well done, won the FA Cup. For me, obviously I wasn't alive when this last one happened, but the biggest FA Cup final shock since Wimbledon won back in '88 when they beat Liverpool 1-0. Ironically enough as well, the goal was very similar to that scored by Lawrie Sanchez, the one scored by Ben Watson. And to make it even more special, they left it late. First minute of injury time at the end of the game. Watson, substitute, broke his leg, had been out for most of the season, and he gets his head on it, gets his ginger bonks on it, and makes it 1-0, and won the cup for Wigan. Sadly, of course, 3 days later they got relegated, but for me that's the biggest shock this season. That could also win the prize as well for most deserved prize of the season, but unfortunately I haven't got a category for that. Goal of the season. Well, for me, Match of the Day obviously agreed with my choice as well, because this one Match of the Day goal of the season. For me, there's only one winner. Robin Van Persie scored a hat-trick to seal the title for Manchester United against Aston Villa. For me, his second goal was just out of this world. Wayne Rooney played the ball over from about 45, 50 yards out, long ball, and Van Persie on the volley. Oh, it was a terrific goal. Absolute quality against Aston Villa. And for me, it is goal of the season. If you haven't seen it, then I recommend you check it out, because it's just quite incredible. We did have a lot of spectacular goals this season, but obviously for me that one stood out. Best manager, I'm not just giving this to him because he's retiring, but because he deserves it. Alex Ferguson, year after year, never fails to produce the goods, and it's no exception this year, really, to be honest. Taking Manchester United to their 20th Premier League title, and no, 20th Premier League title, 20th league title, 13th Premier League title, and the man's just incredible. The trophies he's won in 26 years, considering he nearly got sacked in 1990, he's just wow, amazing. It will be weird not seeing him in the Premier League next season. Of course, I don't remember another Manchester United manager in my lifetime. I wish good luck to David Moyes. I think he'll do a fine job. Him and Fergie are very similar, and I think he will be quite successful. Best game, well, one winner really. Last day of the season, we had to wait, but when it came, it was something special. And Fergie's retirement as well. What a way for him to go out. West Bromwich Albion 5, Manchester United 5 for me gets game of the season. Just an incredible game of football. United were 5-2 up at one point, 3-0 up, 5-2 up, and somehow West Brom just kept fighting back, and eventually managed to scrape a point. And it also goes down in history as the first ever 5-5 draw. No game history of the Premier League before has finished 5-5. And it's also the joint second highest scoring game in history of the Premier League as well. It's up there with Arsenal 7, Newcastle 3, which was another great game earlier this season. And Tottenham 6, Reading 4 a few years back. I think there was another 6-4 a few years back as well, but I can't remember the teams that are involved. Before we move on to the worst, a special mention as well. If there was a lifetime achievement award for the Premier League, I would give it to this particular player. Obviously, we're seeing loads of players retiring this season, but this one's special. Jamie Carragher. He's retiring from Liverpool after almost 19 years as a professional at the club. He's been outstanding. He's only ever been at one club, never been interested in a move away, never been linked with a move away. He's a one-club man. And considering he grew up as an Everton fan, his loyalty to Liverpool has been quite incredible. He was born and grew up as an Everton fan, and he's retired as a Liverpool legend. Wouldn't you just know it? He's fantastic. I was going to choose Paul Scholes, but the reason I didn't is because he's already retired before, then come out and retired again. That's the only reason that Paul Scholes didn't get it. On to the flops now. Flop of the season. I couldn't pick one player. So for me, flop of the season has got to go to the entire Queen's Park Rangers team. Obviously, at the beginning of the season, they signed some great players. Esteban Granero, Ji-sung Park, Loic Remy came in January, and it was just terrible to watch, honestly. It's like there's an ongoing joke now that QPR stands for quality players ruin, because that's basically what it is, to be honest. It's just players going there for money and doing crap, really. It's just ruining their careers, and I just pray that no more good players go to QPR, because it's career suicide, really. You're not going there for the football, they're going there for the money, especially players like Robert Green and Julio Cesar. He shouldn't be playing for QPR. He should be playing for a club like Milan. He's a top quality keeper. When he's good, he's very, very good. Most boring side, again, for me, no contest really. Would probably win it every year, to be honest. Stoke City. Obviously, Tony Pulis has gone today, bit of a shocker, after 9 years in charge. So that might change, but obviously as a West Ham fan, I know what long ball's like, but at least we mix it up from time to time, play some interesting stuff. But Stoke every week, they're just boring to watch, honestly. It's just like lump it forward, throw it long, let's hope someone gets around it. It's not football. They play rugby, to be honest, more than football, and they've got a lot of dirty players as well. Dirty tackles going in here and there, everywhere. Steven Nzonzi is particularly bad for that, I feel. They done well, but just slipped under everyone's radar this season. I wouldn't really put this in the flops, but this team didn't get recognised, and they really should have, because they done very, very well. That team is West Bromwich Albion, came 8th. Obviously, there was a 12-point gap between them and Liverpool, but still, out of the lower club, you could basically say they won the league out of the lower 13 clubs, because obviously the top 7 is normally pretty much the same every season, and then you've got other teams as well. And that for me, West Brom are the team this season that did slip under everyone's radar. Had a fantastic start to the season. They were in the top 4 at Christmas, if I do remember rightly. And then they had a bit of a dip in form, and then they started getting good again, and then they were just a bit inconsistent, and they ended up finishing 8th. And Romelu Lukaku is mainly thanks for that. He was a bit of a beast this season, and if Chelsea sell him properly, then they'll be mad, because he'll be a great player, whoever he plays for. Worst manager, he's not manager anymore, but Mark Hughes. For me, obviously, you can't just blame him solely, but one of the reasons for QPR's big downfall, he signed all the players that came in, well, the majority of them anyway, and they just did not deliver, basically. When you sign world-class players, you've got to make sure you give them the right tactics, make sure they deliver, but they just didn't do that. And then obviously Harry Redknapp come in, and by then it was too late, and QPR were already dead and buried. So yeah, Mark Hughes gets worst manager. Worst signing of the season. This actually goes to a member of my team, West Ham United. The unwanted award I will give to Manuel Pogatetz. We signed him on loan from Austria Wien in January, and I saw him play twice, and it honestly gave me nightmares. It was so bad. Honestly, he was slow. His passes were all astray. He couldn't defend, and it just shows, why Middlesbrough got rid of him. And I'm glad we're not signing him permanently. We've sent him back to Austria Wien, which I couldn't care less, in my opinion. Worst game of the season. Oh God, one winner for me. This game. There were some poor games this season, but this just topped the lot. Reading and QPR finished 0-0 last month, and it relegated both teams, and you could tell that both teams were near the bottom, to be honest. It was shocking football. I don't actually recall a decent shot on goal. It was just bad to watch. I was outside cutting the grass for most of that game, and I came in and I don't think there had been a shot steal. So yeah, that's why I'll give that game the award, because quite frankly it's bad. Worst team overall, again, these keep cropping up a lot. Queen's Park Rangers, for the reasons I gave earlier, to be honest. They signed quality players and they just didn't deliver. Normally any other side with a team like Sean Wright Phillips, part of UCLS Bongonero, would have probably qualified for Europe easily, but it was just poor, overall poor. I think, to be honest, QPR's players are more bothered about money than they are football. When you look at the players they've got there, and you look at they're going to be in the Championship next season, and you think, what are you doing at that club? Players like Julio Cesar aren't Championship quality. These are players that have played in World Cups and the Champions League, and if a lot of them don't leave, they'll be in the Championship next season. That's a massive step down. So, just two more to do. Disappointing / underachieving team of the season. Newcastle United, I was quite disappointed with them. Finished 5th last season, almost got in the Champions League. And this season I expected big things of them, same again. But they actually only stayed up by 5 points, which I was quite disappointed about. They've got good players, but the biggest mistake they made for me was probably selling Demba Ba. I mean, he hasn't done too great at Chelsea, but for Newcastle, he's a beast. He was scoring all their goals, winning in matches, and as soon as they sold him, they just seemed to go downhill, to be honest. So I haven't really signed a decent replacement. So that's something that Alan Pardew needs to think about. Their French Revolution isn't really working either. So again, that is something they will need to address, in my opinion. Last one, disappointing underachieving player of the season. I mentioned Tottenham and Gareth Bale right at the beginning of this video. I'm mentioning Emmanuel Adebayor at the end of this one. He's a good player, but his attitude is poor, and it showed this season. He managed just 4 Premier League goals, which is nowhere near good enough for a Premier League striker. And I think what topped off his season was that penalty miss in the Europa League, where he I don't know what he was doing. He was just giving it the old jelly legs and just stepped up and hit a plane. It was horrible. And that just capped off a poor season for him, really. And it was disappointing because I remember him at Arsenal and Man City. You know, his first season at Man City was good, and Arsenal he was good, but Tottenham, for me, he just hasn't really delivered. Before I go, just a couple more notes. Man City sacking Mancini, I think, is an absolute disgrace. He won them their first league title for 40 years. He won them their first silverware in over 30 years. And, he goes one season without a trophy. He comes second in the Premier League, he's second in the FA Cup, and he gets kicked out. It's ridiculous. And for me, Man City, if they carry that on, they'll be like another Chelsea, hiring and firing club who end up having too much inconsistency. And finally, on the subject of Chelsea, it's great to see Mourinho coming back. It's almost certainly confirmed now. He's a great guy. He's a very interesting manager to watch as well. The way he plays mind games, and he's a little bit crazy, but he's a genius. He's honestly a tactical genius. The only thing that does concern me about him is his loyalty. He seems to say somewhere for 2 or 3 years and then sort of somewhere else, but it seems like his loyalty is with Chelsea if he's coming back. So that was my Premier League best and worst 2012-2013. I'll be back soon with another video. I'm not quite sure what on yet, and I have actually got a big video project planned soon, but I'm not gonna tell you what it is, because if it doesn't happen, then I'm gonna be disappointed. And some of you may be disappointed, some of you may not. So yeah, I'll be back soon with another video. And thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Super Metal Boy 96, for more football videos and just rants, really. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back.